Welcome to Awakening to Your Story. I'm heart expert Alicia Hartzell, and today I thought we might start with a question that I received. I value the things that you write in the comments, and I value the emails that you send me with questions and ideas for topics. And I wanted to say thank you for all the people who have taken the time to communicate with me and with all the other people who show up at this platform. So the question I pulled out of the hat today that I think is super important is, how do you deal with the big bad stuff in the world, like global warming and hunger and rape and violence and mass shootings? Sometimes I feel like I just can't shake it. Is there a way to make it better? Well, is there a way to make it better? Is there a way to make all those terrible, tragic things in the world slowly subside? If I knew how to do it, I sure as heck would. I do know that peace happens one person at a time, right? And you and your story are more valuable than you will ever probably understand. And I do what I do because I want you to have the power to be the fullest expression of yourself, the power to step back into your essential truth as you let go of all the limited things that maybe were passed on along the way. I have a personal belief that we each bring something special and unique to the table of humanity. Now, I also believe that that table is set up in a room of divinity, right? So as we sit at the table of humanity, fighting sometimes and battling and, expressing love too, right? There's this polarity that happens sometimes. There is so much brilliance and love to be experienced in the world, and yet there is still so much pain and chaos going on. As we sit at this table, we have to understand that we may not see the big picture in this room of divinity, right? So my personal way of kind of bringing inner peace to myself is understanding that there's a balancing happening out there in the world that I don't necessarily understand. And my job is to show up every day and be the fullest expression of myself and of my essential truth and of love so that I can breed more of that in the world. Now, will that take care of violence? It's a step. It's a step. The less violence I have within me, the less truth that is masked by pain and by frustration and by challenge, the more my heart gets to expand and the more I get to bring love to the table of humanity. And if I can do it and then breathe love in the person sitting next to me or across from me, and then they breathe love, then where are we going? We're going towards peace, towards possibility, towards that divinity that we hold in this room, right? So, there are a million different things that we see every day on social media. We are bombarded. We are a society, sadly, or maybe not sadly, that is centered around social media. We get to swipe through hundreds of posts a day, Facebook and Instagram and Snapchat. And actually, more often than not, we would rather be on our phones than talking to the person next to us. Now, that says a lot, right? We have to show up wherever we are. And if we're not showing up sitting next to the person beside us, then we have to show up in our social media. And we get the opportunity to do that every day. You get to choose how you react or how you respond to everything that you see. It's a microcosm of the world outside, right? So I want to challenge you as you focus on all this pain and suffering to recognize that we don't necessarily get to see the whole picture, but we do get to see our story and how we interact with it, right? We all have passion and purpose, and the more that we can tap into that, the more that we can breed change along the way. Yes, are you with me? Okay, so I want to challenge you. You know, as you're dealing with social media, I want you to detoxify from the suffering and the pain and the challenge of it, right? Instead of plugging into that energy center of pain and challenge and chaos, I want you to feed and plug into your heart center, right? So if you see a post that comes up and reminds you of the violence and the suffering and all of those things, you get to have a voice in there. Not a voice of reaction to it, but a voice of centered truth, right? You get to make a choice to show up and say, I see the love in all. I breed thanksgiving for the people who are showing up as first responders. I know their value, and I am with the people on the other side of the pain, right? Rather than getting, caught up in the cluster of all of the reaction that happens when you see pain, you can actually breathe love, breathe positivity, breathe gratitude into those spots. Now, one of the beautiful things that I do is I also like to find the happiness on social media. I like to find the happiness in those places. You can search by hashtags now on Instagram and Facebook. Go through and search for the hashtag happy thoughts or happy thought or positivity and see what comes up, and then like it and then comment on it. And as you do that, you are showing the world, showing social media, the platform, and showing yourself where your gratitude is, right? Where it is you are putting your intention and in intense focus into the world. We can't necessarily change the big picture all at once, but I want to remind you of your value each step along the way. So we're going to talk about our big three. First off, know that you sit at the table of humanity, and that table is in a room of divinity. Your place at that table is so valuable. Your essence of love and creation of life and expression of truth can only be brought to the table by you. If you have a passion, if you have a purpose that your heart cannot let go of, it's because the rest of humanity, the people next to you, and humanity as a whole need to have that expression, need to have those reminders gifted to them, and only you can bring it to the table. 2, I get to choose what my energy feeds. It's a good one. I get to choose what my energy feeds. Are you going to plug into the chaos, or are you going to plug into the positivity? Remember, you get a choice every day. It doesn't matter whether or not you're dealing with the people in the everyday real world, or you're dealing with the expression of those people in social media. You get to make a choice what you feed into every day and in every moment. Own that choice and choose wisely. Number 3, I am transforming everything with my truth and my expression of love. I love it, right? You truly are. You are transforming every circumstance, every situation you walk into with your expression of love. There is power and there is purpose in that. Don't forget it. Yes, we need you here at the table of humanity. We need that positivity. We need that truth. And if you are feeling pain and or tapped into the tragedy and you're feeling bogged down by it, Pick yourself up. Recognize that you are in a room of divinity, that you don't know the whole story, and that your job is to show up and be your fullest expression of you. Now, again, if you have questions or comments, please leave them below. Otherwise, I will see you next time. And until then, remember, you are a miraculous creature. For more support, information, and inspiration, join me at awakeningtoyourstory.com.